Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at two. Just sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, welcome back to the Curtain Call Podcast, the best wrestling podcast on the planet. I'm joined as always by JR. I go by Irish Neep. Today's video is going to be a good one. It's going to be a very good one. We're going over our WWE Day 1 predictions. Now, we are recording this Wednesday, the 29th, before the show. So this is basically the final card unless something gets added on Twitter or whatever. You know what I mean? So this is the final card as of Wednesday before the show. So, yeah, man, let's just dive right in. JR, why don't you start us off, and let's just get rolling, man.
Here we go. WWE Day 1, January 1st, 2022. Live from Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. The first match, we have Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss. Tell me who you got.
Yeah, I mean, Drew is like, he's getting a push. He's always been getting a push. It seems like a steady push he's been getting for a long time now. Honestly, I think this might be my like one sentence match I talk about. I think Drew's taking this, and I don't really think there's a discussion about it.
Yeah, same here. I think Drew has it. I think all the momentum's on his side. I think that if they're planning on doing a longer storyline with him and Baron Corbin, I could see them fishing out, Madcap to do something, but it's Drew McIntyre, man. The second match, tag team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions, we have the Day 1-ish. The Usos against the New Day. Who do you got?
First of all, we can just say this match is going to be a banger, man. This match is going to be incredible. All their other matches have been incredible. This is one of, as far as WWE goes, it's hard to think broad on this one, but as far as WWE goes, this is one of the better tag team feuds of the last decade, I think.
Absolutely.
Just back and forth there are just phenomenal. They put on great matches. The storytelling's all there. Regardless of how I think the storyline's going or how they're booked or whatever, I'm going Usos 9.5 times out of 10. I'm down since day one, man. I really am. So I'm going Usos. It's going to be an absolute hell of a match. I can't wait. Probably the best on the card because they're capable of doing so. And yeah, it's going to be a good one, but I'm going Usos on this one, man. I think the Bloodline wins out in this show.
Yeah, I absolutely think the Usos win it. It's hard for me to think that they'll lose a pay-per-view that's kind of named after them.
Right.
I think it's going to be a great match. I think it has potential to be match of the night, but there's one match in particular I think might steal the show. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that the Usos take that one and they retain as your SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The next one, we have a singles match. We have Edge versus The Miz.
Yeah, this one's been good, man. I don't know. I haven't really been checking the Twitterverse or any online. I don't know how people are liking this feud or if they're not. I'm liking it a lot. You got two guys who are just both phenomenal on the mic. Obviously, the match is going to be great. They're both great in the ring. I think the match is going to be awesome. No pun intended. But yeah, man, I don't know. This is a tough one. This is a real tough one, but I wanted to get that out of the way that I've really been enjoying the story that they've been building. And I don't think it stops here. I really don't think it ends here. So maybe one of them wins by DQ or interference or something.
You really don't want to say it. I know you want to say it, but I'll say it for you. I think The Miz is going to take this match. I think it's setting up for something later on down the line. Obviously, they're going to end up going with that intergender match. But I think it's something that this is okay. This to me might be the match of the night. Why? Yeah. Because low key, The Miz is really good. He really is good. There's a reason why he's a multi-champion. There's a reason why he's held the IC title many times. There's a reason why he's been tag champ. There's a reason why he's had this longevity of career, regardless how you feel about him when he came out of the real world and whatnot. The Miz is an actual good superstar. Is he a Kenny Omega? No, he's not. But his storytelling is so good. His selling is so good. His facial features when he's selling is so good that this was the one that I was thinking is going to be match of the night. I think The Miz takes this one.
Yeah, I definitely got The Miz, and I'm excited because I'm sure they'll do that mixed gender match at Mania, and that should be good. That should be really good.
Absolutely. The next one, we have the Raw Women's Championship match. The champ, the man, Bex, big time Bex, Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Who do you have?
I've said it in our last few episodes. I really have. The last 2-3 episodes we've had covering WWE, I've said this, and I've said that Liv Morgan is going to get that belt at some point. And obviously, I didn't think it was going to happen on that Monday Night Raw match they had weeks ago or whatever. I think this is it. I don't think they drag it to Mania. I think that's too far. Can they really keep building Liv Morgan up till WrestleMania? I mean, that's another 4 months away. That's a lot of time. So I think Liv Morgan picks it up on this show, man. I really do. I got to look at the rest of the card. Nothing else changes hands. Everybody else retains or wins their title back or whatever. I think Liv might have this one, man. I'm going Liv Morgan on this.
Let me ask you something before I give my prediction. Why do you say Liv? Why have you been saying? Because for a while now you've been saying Liv Morgan, Liv Morgan. She's been building herself up. The crowd has been getting behind her. So her wrestling has improved.
Yeah.
So is that why you're saying Liv? Because she's finally getting that traction going where she's been looked at more like a babyface?
Yeah. So yeah, I say Liv because, like I said, I don't think I see this going another 4 months. That's a lot of time to fill and a lot of time. I don't want her to lose the steam she has. Now, if they do it right, obviously they can make it like a monumental win at WrestleMania, like this huge moment. She's come close so many times. She's almost had it. This, whatever. But I just don't have faith that they could book it properly for another 4 months. That's why I'm saying she wins it on this show.
If it was up to me, I would have Liv Morgan lose this match, have her work her way through the Rumble, get her opportunity at WrestleMania, and it's a beautiful story where she finally got over the hump and she begins her long title reign, maybe all the way until SummerSlam as your champion. But you said something very key. They don't book things like this anymore. It's a very much popcorn atmosphere of what can be done. I'm scared, I'm going to be honest with you, for Liv to be the champion. Why? Because it would have been great for Nikki to have been in this spot where she battled, finally got to the championship and won it, but they gave it to her so quick, they took it off of her, and now Nikki's an afterthought. And I feel that that's going to happen with Liv, and she's gotten really, really good. And Liv Morgan, to me, I don't know her personally, but she almost gives off the vibe that she's a very emotional person.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that might kill her confidence in being the champ, getting it taken away from her, because as you know, the Rumble's coming up number 1. We don't know the kind of people that might be coming back. You have Asuka, you have Bayley. Those two are going to be battling for a title. Liv, if she gets the belt, she's definitely not going to have the belt going into SummerSlam. They're going to end up taking it off of her. So do you make a better story, a feel-good moment, and have her win at WrestleMania? Or do you give it to her? But for that reason and that reason only, I'm going to stick with Becky Lynch.
Yeah, this is the prediction that I hope I'm wrong on. I hope I don't get this one right, because I would much rather have the good build, great moment at WrestleMania. That's what, selfishly, that's what I want. So of all the predictions, I hope I'm wrong on this one and they do that. I just don't have the faith that they're going to do so. And another thing is, I was just thinking when you mentioned the Rumble is, say she wins it. The Rumble is almost immediately after this show. Whoever wins that Rumble will be her next contender, probably, right? That's normally how they do it. So does Becky lose and then just be like, oh, I'm out of luck, the Rumble? Or are they going to do where they brought back Becky Lynch to get her spot back? I don't even want to think about that because that doesn't seem smart to me.
I mean,
but her championship run is going to be probably not great. Well, either way. Yeah.
They're definitely in a sticky situation because there's 3 potential superstars that are going to be 4 actually that they're going to be coming back. You have Bayley, you have oh my God, who was the other one?
Asuka.
We had Bayley, we have Asuka, we have Alexa Bliss. And I don't know if you've seen Lacey Evans on Twitter, but she's been getting in phenomenal shape. So you have Lacey Evans as well. that's not to say where maybe a Ronda Rousey comes back. There's so many different things that they can do. And I think that Liv will get lost in the shuffle unless they pull the trigger now and be committed to making that storyline headed into WrestleMania. But a lot of stuff's going to be happening in that women's division. But like you said, they have a track record of not booking correctly. So, I mean, I feel you on that one, brother.
Yeah.
So the next one,
what we'll do is when we put out an episode next week, we'll do our result video and then kind of further discuss it depending on what happens at this show. But maybe we'll have a little bit more insight next week. Not
a problem. The next one, we have a fatal four-way match. We have Big E, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley. On paper, it's going to be some blows being thrown. Who do you got?
Yeah, this one is tough, man. This one is really tough because the Kevin Owens and Seth storyline it's there. And I hate to be this person, and I hate to put this out there. Do you think that Kevin Owens worked this into him re-signing, and that he's like, look, I'll resign, but you got to give me a little something on this next show or something? I don't that's probably not the case. I'm probably spitballing it. You guys know, if you've watched the show before, I've been following Kevin Owens since Kevin Steen and the early El Generico Steen days, early Ring of Honor. I'm a ride for Kevin Owens all the time, so I'm going KO, but I don't know, man. This match is going to be, I think this match is going to be the most interesting match to see what happens and where things go for everybody afterwards.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because I have Kevin Owens as well. And if not Kevin, I think Big E retains. But here's the issue that I have, Jordan. I don't want to say this. I really don't want to say it, but I think that, to be fair to our viewers that watch this and everything, Big E doesn't do anything for me as the champion. And I put him in the same situation, unfortunately, like Adam Hangman Page. They don't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I see why he's the champion for the merchandise selling, the kids and everything, but he doesn't do anything for me as a champion. I can see Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins stealing the show at WrestleMania. I really can. I can see a feud going in with Big E and Bobby Lashley, going into the next pay-per-view or even into WrestleMania, and have them keep feuding while Kevin takes the belt. We do know that it's been announced here in Columbus, Ohio in February that they're going to have a rematch. Does that mean that Big E retains? I don't know, but he doesn't do anything for me as a champion anymore. I like Big E. I'm not saying I don't like him. I like him.
Yeah.
Just doesn't move the needle for me. I think Kevin Owens moves that needle a lot more than he does. That's why I chose Kevin Owens.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if it's Big. I don't necessarily think it's any of Big E's fault, man, but being in the shadow of the tribal chief is hard, man. The stuff that Roman Reigns has been doing, I mean, it was not hard for him to be known as the second champion or lesser champion because Roman Reigns was just doing incredible work this last year.
Yeah, and the only one that can take that away in a sense where he really won't be looked at as a second champion is a Kevin Owens. Number one, the fans like him. The hardcore fans love Kevin Owens. And number two, he's so good on the mic, he can get himself over and get that match over, especially if you pair him with Seth Rollins. You saw what they did at WrestleMania a couple years ago. They really tore the house down with no fans in attendance. Yeah. They're going to take that to the next level if they put the strap on Kevin, have him carry it to Mania, and even have him beat Seth at Mania. But that's what we think. So here we go. The Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. This should be an interesting storyline one. Who do you got?
Yeah, I've said it the last few episodes. Roman Reigns is not losing this until the sign behind him says WrestleMania. He's not losing at any other show. I highly, highly doubt that happens. But then a part of me in the back of my mind is Paul Heyman is looming somewhere, and who knows where that's going to go. So I never say 100%, but I'm like 99% sure Roman Reigns has got this. But that 1% is Paul E. dangerously sticking in the background. I don't know, man. What do you think?
So here's a question. So I don't think Roman should lose the title until Mania. But if he is going to lose the title before Mania, they need to do it now. Why? Because the next major pay-per-view is the Rumble. He can't win it at the Rumble and then lose it at Mania. It just doesn't make sense.
Sure.
Because don't even have him lose it at that point. So I think he retains. I think Paul Heyman might have something to do with that. But like you said, would they have him switch the belt now and maybe have him go to Mania and fight The Rock without that title that we've been talking about for the tribal chief status of the family, the leader of the family? And then after Mania, maybe he picks up that win and gets his title back. If they're going to go that route, okay, that's fine. But if they do it, they got to pull it at this pay-per-view. They got to pull the trigger because you can't go any further. Now we get into the road to WrestleMania, and they got to make sure that they got everything covered. But I don't see him losing the title. I got Roman Reigns, brother.
Yeah, man. Okay, answer me this. Roman Reigns retains. Who wins the Rumble? Who wins the Rumble? How do you book that? If Roman Reigns retains, and you know he's not going to lose at Royal Rumble, because you're right, that doesn't make sense. You know he's not going to lose at, like, what's the one before it? Fastlane? So who wins the Rumble?
What you've been saying all along. Have Walter win the Rumble. Have him go on to WrestleMania and fight the Tribal Chief.
Ring General. I like it. I like your booking.
I just seen that your eyes lit up when I said Walter. So, I mean, realistically, I don't know. I really, it's just hard for me to picture anybody beating Roman Reigns at this time because he's done so well. But I know it has to happen. They got to end up ending this streak somehow. But who's going to do it? I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to wait for him to pass CM Punk's reign. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting, especially if he retains. What do they do coming out of the pay-per-view? And if he loses a title, does he right away get that rematch? Or do they right away go into The Rock saying, you thought you were the leader of the family, but you lost? Do they go that route? So it's going to be very interesting, man.
And I think this show, day one, I think this show has a lot to tell about WWE and where they're going to go from here. You think a lot of who either retains or he loses, a lot's going to go off the Roman Reigns match going forward. I think the storyline with Liv Morgan, a lot's going to tell from what happens at this show. So Edge, and The Miz, I think a lot's going to show off of what happens at this match. I think this pay-per-view is going to be a good insight into the first 4 or 5 months of 2022.
Absolutely. I think this is setting the stage for what is the road to WrestleMania, because there's so many storylines that's going to come out of here that you're going to be able to start putting the pieces together. The other thing that we're not even talking about is that now that AJ is going solo and he's more of a babyface turn that he's done, they're going to push him to do something great. Does he get that at the Rumble? Don't know. Walter's going to be at NXT next week. Does that mean he's coming up to the main roster? There's been rumors about him going to the main roster. There's also been rumors about Roderick Strong coming up to the main roster. Tommaso Ciampa coming up to the main roster. So a lot of things are going to be happening. I think at this day one, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple surprise guests that might come into the fold or interfere in a match somehow to make their presence known. This, like you said, this is going to be the start of where we're going to be at the next few months in 2022 and heading into the Rumble and heading into WrestleMania, and the storylines are going to pick up really quick.
Yep, it should be good, man. I'll give you my overall what I'm excited about, because next week we'll do our overall score for the pay-per-view. But I think this has the potential to be a 3.5, maybe edging towards a 4. Because this is shaping up to be a pretty good show, man.
Yeah, on paper, this is a really stacked card. I would be super disappointed if you and I don't think it's a 3.5 or 4. Anything less than 3.5, man, they really missed the ball on it. A lot of times when I watch wrestling, I like to watch the pay-per-view twice. I watch it one time, like everyone else, live. And then a lot of times the next day, because typically I'm off on Mondays, I like to watch it again. But a lot of times I watch it with the mute on. That way I don't get distracted or influenced by the crowd noise, and I can see the storyline taking place.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you'd be surprised how many times it shifts your train of thought of what you thought it was when you first watched it and then rewatching it. It's the same thing I've been doing with Monday Night Raw. That's why I thought that Monday Night Raw, if you get rid of that third hour, it's such a great show.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. I really am excited for this pay-per-view because I know what it's setting up for.
Sure. Yeah. It should be really good. Like I said, let us know your thoughts down below. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing and liking the video. Turn on the notification bell so you never, ever miss an upload. But yeah, let us know what you're thinking about this show. It's looking to be pretty good. But as always, throw it up. You've got it too sweet. And JR, just send it out.
And we always kick out at 2.
Peace.